What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today, joined by Josh over here, newcomer on the channel, one of my best mates. And basically, today we're going to be talking to him about why he's a bandwagon supporter. So basically, we live in South Africa, right? And he's a Leicester fan, and you may ask, oh no, maybe he was born there or something like that. No. Man was born in England, but he came from Chelsea. He was born in the area where you would normally support Chelsea, right? And he grew up as a Chelsea fan. And then all of a sudden, once Leicester won the league, man's hopping on that train.
No, hold up.
Okay,
Hold up.
okay,
It
okay,
wasn't the one league. It was
okay.
like a year ago, a long time after Leicester
A
won the
year
league.
ago.
Make that clear before you continue. It was like a year ago.
Yeah, well, I was about to ask you. So, what made you switch over from Chelsea to support Leicester, firstly?
Okay. Well, so as you said, I was born in Chelsea. About a minute's walk from the stadium is the Chelsea and Westminster Hospital. So I was born there. Yeah, so I was kind of like, ever since I was born, it's like you support Chelsea. Like it's life. You have to support Chelsea. But like I barely even remember living in England. I moved when I was like 4. When I was 4, I moved. So I barely remember living in England, but I still had this like you support Chelsea imprinted on me. So throughout the years I've supported Chelsea and like I still love Chelsea. Like of course I do. That's not
Yeah,
at all. But it was kind of okay, well, do you actually support the club or do you just support because you were born there? Like what's going on? So I started thinking when I started watching football avidly was in high school. And that was when I started like thinking, okay, do you actually support the club or do you support the fact that or were you just born there and that's life? And so I started looking at like clubs and reasons why I would like a club and whatnot. And I read the Leicester book, the 5,000 to 1, where the story of how they won the league. Um, Obviously at odds of 5,000 to 1. And and then I watched and I really enjoyed it. Like I really enjoyed it, and I really enjoyed the vibe at the club, the ethos, the atmosphere, how they did it, how they went about it, how the small club that's managed to do this, etc., etc. I just loved everything about it, and so I thought, you know what, let me watch them a bit, and then I watched them for a while, and I much preferred the way they played over the way Chelsea was playing. It was a lot more because they were not as big of a club. It's a lot more free flowing, you know, flair football, and I much
yeah.
preferred that. So then I was like, you know what, like prefer them. I prefer the way they're playing. I like the ethos of the club, etc., etc. I guess I support them.
Yeah.
But I don't
Okay,
like
so
support is a weird word, but yeah,
yeah. Okay, so obviously, like in our friend group and in our age group especially, there's majority Chelsea fans. Just because of the success they've had when we've grown up. Um, okay, would you like to tell us about that external pressure, so to speak, of those Chelsea fans coming at you for switching sides and being plastic?
well, you know, okay, yeah. I speak. Well, the other thing was that also it's like another small part of it was, you know, and I wanted to going back to why I changed to Leicester. Like I wanted to support like a smaller club to avoid that because obviously you got the Liverpool with you and Smithy and whatnot, and then the Chelsea with Inca, Andrew. Oh fuck, there's a lot, Jordy, etc., etc. Um, and I wanted to kind of be be neutral in those arguments, if that makes sense. Like it was, it's a lot more funny when when you can sit on the outside and say, "Look at this lot." But where oh you get it tuned, yeah. You kind of just got to because most of the tuning will occur over WhatsApp on our football group. So you kind
Yeah,
of just there's obviously every time like I'd say I'd say something. I'd be like, yo, we're playing well. When I was watching a Chelsea game, they'd be like, who's we? And suddenly it starts and whatnot. And because it's on WhatsApp, though, you can just ignore it. So I just like leave it.
Yeah.
I used to leave those messages and then it dies down. But also like I don't care. I guess that's one of the easiest ways to go about it. Is like they're like, oh, you plastic, you changed, you did this only when they won the league, blah blah blah. And like I don't care because I know why, and also it's really not that big a deal. Like it's a football club.
Yeah, exactly. So
So
who's your favorite player now at Leicester?
Jamie Vardy, Jamie
Fair enough.
Vardy,
He's
yeah, he's just
he's yeah.
scored more than Didier Drogba, scored more than so many Premier League legends um at the moment, and I just feel like he's not talked about enough. He's not like I guess if he was young, I think we've had this discussion. I'm saying why is he not getting snatched up by
Yeah.
bigger clubs like all these other guys were? But I suppose if he was younger, he would. His age is getting a bit old, but still, to be doing what he's doing this season now at age 33 is mental.
Yeah. So about a month ago, Leicester took the trip down to my club's stadium, Anfield. We were watching the game together, and your favorite Liverpool player, Bobby Firmino, scored in the last minutes. I just want to know how that made you feel inside.
I, I don't even know what to say. Like he's just fucking trash.
Just for you guys that don't know,
You know what I thought about the whole time? The whole time I thought
yeah,
about, I was like, if this was the winner, I would have murdered someone. Like the only thing I could be happy about was that like the game was done. Like he scored himself a little consolation goal. Okay, no, who cares?
yeah,
Oh, bloody
yeah.
defender.
Oh, for you guys that don't know, Josh is an avid hater of Roberto Firmino for whatever reason. But
I'm
anyways,
not. It's just trash.
who thinks he's trash, okay? Whatever. And then final question: how do you think Leicester going to end up the season? Where would you predict them to finish?
If you'd asked me at the start, I would have said easily a Champions League spot. But this is just so hard to predict at the moment. The teams and the everything. I mean, Southampton could get a Champions League spot.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, okay. Let's rephrase the question. What would you say is a satisfactory position that you wouldn't be
what
happy, but you wouldn't be sad with?
I'd be happy with Europa League again. Um, I'm always happy with Europa League, and well, for Leicester, I'm always happy with Europa League. For United, and they trash when they're in there. But I think top six. If Leicester can continuously start establishing themselves as a top six club, um, it's yeah. How long before we start taking out Arsenal and putting Leicester in
Yeah,
their place as one of the
I
top six clubs? Like,
I think
so
that's yeah.
for me, every season is kind of just keep establishing yourself as a top six club and see what happens from there. Get Champions League as well. That's just an absolute bonus.
Yeah. Anything's possible this
But
season, especially.
exactly. But yeah,
Yeah.
potentially top six. That's what I'd hope for.
Yeah. Okay.